All right, welcome everybody to the Trusted Coaching Podcast. This is your caddy, Ty, and Coach Fader.
Aloha, brother.
And
Aloha.
you got a nice hat on there. What does that say?
hmm
It's a
hmm
Masters.
The Masters, baby.
Do you
We're
get
going
a
to be
hat
talking
like
a
that
little
every
golf
year?
today. We're going to talk since 2001. Yep. Yep.
Wow. So
Yeah.
2015.
I want to
Wow.
take you. I want to take you. I want to take anyone who's listening.
Seriously, you haven't taken
hmm
me yet. I'm offended.
No, haven't taken you yet. You got a couple levels to go up in the golf world, but you're
I
ready to see
know.
the Masters. You are. You're definitely ready to see the Masters.
Well, everybody, one thing that we want to dive into a little bit today on this podcast is the topic of preparation. And there's some little nuances to being prepared for life and being able to really take away the most out of life and create a lot of joy and fun and aliveness. And Fader's got this awesome story where he met Tiger Woods when he was just on the rise. And so, Fader, why don't you just tell us that story, and we can kind of link it to trusted coaching and how it relates to all these people, all these things.
Mm. Yeah, you'll see how much I love this story because it's the first chapter in the book 1000 Courses that will be out
Mm,
really soon. So this one hit me so hard at a young age, 36 years of age and late 1990s, and Tiger's playing at Stanford. And I was
mm,
coaching golf at BYU. And the way that they set up a golf tournament in college is if you play well the first day, then you go off later in the morning. But if you
okay.
play poorly, then you go earlier. So the poorer you play, the earlier you go on the next day.
So how'd
And
BYU
so
do?
we didn't play very well. So we were not very happy about the fact that we had to tee off around 7:15,
Okay.
whereas Stanford doesn't tee off till about 9:30.
Okay.
Okay? So as we always do, I drive the van, take the boys, get to the golf course. I go in, get the golf balls. The boys go into the pro shop or anywhere, depending on how warm it is. They're going to find someplace warm where they can stretch out for 20 minutes, and then they come out to the driving range. And I'm on my way out to the driving range with 5 buckets of balls in my hands and arms and carry them out there. And it's a sliver moon, so you really can't see much of anything.
Yeah, like
And
what time were you out there?
it, before 6,
Okay.
just a little bit before 6. And I hear balls being hit on the driving range. And I'm like, what? The sun has not even begun to come out. It's still 20, 30 minutes away from the sun rising.
Uh-huh.
And I get closer and I get closer and I get real close, like 10 feet away, and I see it's Tiger. And I lean over to him and I said, now, why would you be hitting golf balls in the dark? And
Yeah.
he looks back at me and he says, preparation, coach. It's all about preparation. I'm like, Tiger, you don't tee off for 3 more hours.
Wow.
And it's dark. You can't even see where the ball's going.
And
That
he's
was my
alone,
first.
right? This
Yeah,
there was
he's
no other
alone.
coach with him.
Nope, no coaches. I don't even know how he got out there, but here we are. And that was my first mistake. I said, you can't even see where the ball goes. And he looks back at me and he goes, Coach, I know exactly where the ball is going.
Hmm.
Now we play a lot with Stanford, and so it was a real fun year. He only played 2 years, his freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
And so we had about 15 tournaments, 16 tournaments per year, but Stanford was always in about half of them. So a lot of Tiger interaction for lunch and dinner and watch him hit golf balls. And sometimes the guys on the team would get mad at me because they'd say, you like Tiger more than us. And I'm like, no, I don't. But yes, I did. No, I didn't. But yes, I did.
So you had
Oh,
interactions with Tiger before?
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So he kind
Yep.
of knew of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's really shy and he's really
Okay.
quiet. So when we were talking at dinner, I'd ask him questions. Yes, sir. No, sir. I'm like,
Okay.
come on, getting him to open up. He's 18, 19.
Yeah.
So the first mistake I made, Tyson, was I said, okay, well, I'm going to sit down right behind you, about 5 yards right behind you, and I want to watch you hit the ball. And he's like, fine. I'm like, okay, we'll hit a 10-yard fade, my favorite. And he's like, he hits it. And he turns back to me, he goes, did you like that? I'm like, he
But you can't see
goes,
it.
that was a good one. No, you can't see it. It goes out 30 yards and you can't see the ball. And I said, all right, a 10-yard draw. He hits it. Then I said, grab your 5-iron. He grabs his 5-iron. I go, all right, hit a 200-yard straight shot. And he hits it and he turns back and he goes, that was pure. I'm like, okay, you say so. And he goes,
Yeah.
coach, you don't see it with your eyes. You feel it. You feel it with your
Mm.
hands. You feel it with your body. You know
Mm.
when it's good. I'm like, no, I'm just not that good. I always know when I hit a bad shot because it hurts,
Yeah. Yeah.
All the golfers that are listening, they're laughing because we love golfers. And at Trusted Coaching, this is one of the pinnacles of what we do is preparing people to be parents, preparing spirituality, preparing socially, preparing financially, preparing for that business that they want to create.
Mm.
That's what we want to help people do is help them start that business and create that business. And the preparation is amazing. And here is arguably the greatest golfer of all time. He's my favorite of all time. And he goes and he hits for another 10 minutes. And then he said he was going to go putt. And I go, putt in the dark. And he goes, yeah, that's actually the best way to learn how to putt well. And sure enough, I learned a valuable lesson that day about how he's 3 hours before he tees off. He's in the dark. He can't see the ball as it's flying, and he's preparing himself for the day. So I said to
Mhm.
myself, in what ways do I prepare for whatever it is that I'm doing like that? Yesterday I went and played pickleball with these really good guys here in Hawaii, and like I didn't even warm up. And I got out there and they just worked me. They ran me all over the place, Tyson. I'm like, I didn't even stretch out.
Yeah.
I just got in there and go. And I'm like, and boy, am I paying for it. I need to do this.
Yeah.
So isn't that a sweet story?
No, it's awesome. Some of the parts that I love is just even though he couldn't see it, he could feel it. He could sense
Mm-hmm.
whether or not this was a good hit or whatnot. There's one side of preparation that's just the work mentality. He's out there all by himself. No one's asking him to go. He just loves the sport so much. He's out there. He's working his craft. But then there's that other preparation that maybe you could talk to a little bit more about. Even though he can't see the ball, whether it's visualizing, and I don't know if you would differentiate that kind of preparation, but
Yeah, that's a great question. I sense that most people just wing it,
yeah.
you know? They do. And it's like I tell my players all the time, you're 75% talent and 25% unprepared. Because I work with a lot of talented people, and I've never met anybody that's topped off at more than 75%. But when we get maxed out, we try to push it a little further, and that's where the danger is.
Hmm.
It's trying to go into that 25% that you really don't know that much about, or you don't understand it, or you don't have the skill set, or you don't have the experience, but you'll try to wing it. And as soon as someone starts winging it, you can usually catch them. You can usually, they're the pretenders.
Hmm.
And that is something that we want to eliminate when we're preparing for something is we don't want to give a pretender type of approach, or if we're giving some kind of a talk or discussion or we're leading whatever it is that we're leading, we
Hmm.
want to make sure that we've covered ourselves. And so that is one of the, that's where the trust comes in, is to recognize that you don't want to be a pretender. You don't want to wing it. And I've got a lot of guys who are really good at winging it. And, it's like when you go to church and you haven't prepared for that class you're going to give, and you just go in there and you can tell
Yeah.
when the teacher's winging it or when the
Yep.
teachers really put a lot of thought into the questions. So,
Well, I see that a lot in being dad. I feel like for me, the longest time I've just wanted to have a system in place where I could teach my kids like the things that I know that are helpful for them. And I'm always wanting to do that, yet not being deliberate, not preparing, like not deliberately spending time to prepare and to set plans in place for me to do that with my kids. And that's what I love about all the materials that we've created within the Trusted Club, that the people can have access to a whole course called Daddy of the Year that gives them all the tools. Everything that you could want, it's all prepared for you. It lessens the amount of preparation time that you need to do, but it allows you to have some structure in place so that you can actually start doing some of these practices that are going to enrich that area of your life. And then we have that for so many other areas of life,
Well, my post today, let's end on this. My post today that I'm going to put up is, yesterday I was walking down the beach, and there was this dad sitting in his lounge chair and his 4-year-old son in front of him, and his dad was on the phone. And the son was just playing in the sand in front of him. And I'm like, okay, seen that so many times, but eventually the dad's going to pull the phone away and jump in and start. Then the kid goes and gets in the water, dad's still on the phone. And then 45 minutes later, after I'd gone for my swim, my workout, and I get back out, and the kid is just sitting still right there in front of his dad playing in the sand, dad's still on the phone. And that's a definitive sign of not being very prepared for a daddy date, right? Interaction, etc. And I don't want to, we try to keep things extremely positive. We see way too much of that kind of stuff going on with the phone taking over in the time allotted to have with our children, where that phone needs to be left in the car or at home or in your back pocket or in your backpack. It sends such a bad signal. And so that dad obviously hasn't been preparing himself very well for his daddy time. And so that is the kind of thing that we want to help. And so if you're looking for some people who can help you become a little more prepared for a lot of different facets of life, come on over to the Trusted Coaching Program and clip on in. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. And I'll just say that if you're interested in just like getting a start on whether it's this preparation or just really discovering who you are, if you go to trustedcoaching.com and you scroll down where you can there's a little video play button underneath, Meet Fader, your professional life caddy. And if you click on that, you'll get to see this video and as well as sign up to get access to the first hole. There's 18 holes of Mastering Life, and you can get access to the first hole where you can understand what we call the pyramid, where you can start learning, okay, how do I prepare my life in a way? How do I get into the different areas of my life, these 8 different areas, in a way that's really brings about a lot of joy. So
just don't laugh too hard at me flying down that water slide in Costa Rica where they have no rules. I was not prepared for how fast that was and how crazy it was. There was no lifeguards. There was nobody. That was one of the most unprepared moments of my life, sliding down that water.
You're going to have to check it out now just to
Let's
see
end
it.
on that. You can trust that, and you can trust it. Thanks, Tyson.
We'll see you.
Aloha.